what will a workforce look like after COVID-19? The 2008 recession impacted the millennial generation's career paths in a similar way that the pandemic has now disrupted Gen Z's career paths. What ripple effect will this pandemic have on the workforce and workplace in the years to come? Hello friends, I'm Ashley Stahl, a career coach, host of the U-Turn podcast, and best-selling author of the book also named U-Turn. Get unstuck, discover your direction, and design your dream career. I'm here to help you create a career and a life that truly lights you up, and a lot of that comes down to being able to understand the times that we're in and see moments where the future of the workforce is leaking into the now. This allows you to plan your career more effectively. I don't think anyone predicted how big the impact of COVID-19 would be, especially when it came to the workforce. Life a few years ago looked completely different than it does today. Industries were on the rise that are now crashing. Millions of people hadn't been laid off yet. A global pandemic hadn't affected workplaces. Early 2020-us could have never imagined what we had in store. I'll share some predictions with you. Number one, hybrid and remote work models are here to stay. One of the most immediate and notorious COVID-19 related changes was the switch to hybrid and remote work models. Before COVID-19, remote work was already increasing steadily. From 2010 to 2020, the number of people working from home at least once a week saw a 400% increase. So it's not shocking to learn that as people were forced to work at home, it'll stay that way for many. And many workers, they like it that way. If given the choice, the vast majority would prefer to work remotely or part-time for the rest of their careers. As the pandemic progresses, many companies are choosing a hybrid model with staff working remotely part-time and in-person part-time. A recent survey found that 80% of company leaders expect to let staff work from home at least part-time after COVID-19. So whether full or part-time, expect remote work to stay. That being said, there's been somewhat of an argument made about how leaning into remote work can be a form of leaning out of your career. The research proves that nothing can quite beat the power of FaceTime, meaning that people who work in person with their boss will be subject to quicker growth and more promotions compared to their counterparts who are behind a screen working remotely. The truth of the matter is that we're human beings. We still have a bias and a preference for favoring people more strongly through in-person connection. Number two, video conferencing will continue to trump phone calls. In March of 2020, when COVID-19 took over the world, Zoom's business blew up and other companies quickly joined in to develop video conferencing software of their own. Video conferencing has become a staple in both our work and our personal lives, and we're going to continue to see video conferencing services evolve to meet the changing needs of remote workers as well as to connect with a growing global workforce. There has been a major shift towards the usage and acceptance of video conferencing and video chat. So post-COVID-19, expect video conferencing and interviewing to become the norm. This is also going to create tension around whether certain meetings can actually turn into a quick Slack message, given that data is showing that the amount of time we're spending in meetings has skyrocketed, which is ultimately harming productivity. Number three, virtual conferences and events. Not only is video conferencing becoming an everyday norm, but it's likely changing the way that conferences and events are done. The pandemic had a massive impact on the travel industry, with so many people feeling more introverted and just in general no longer having that willingness to travel. The pandemic reaped havoc on the travel industry, and many people are still afraid of travel with continued outbreaks and COVID variants. Travel restrictions are not uniform in the US or abroad, leaving travelers weary of spending money only to be turned back at airports or customs. A recent survey among marketers worldwide found that 40% of events planned for 2022 will be virtual, a 5% increase from 2021. Hybrid events are becoming more popular, offering both in-person and virtual experiences. It's only a matter of time until this YouTube video is really a hologram of me just talking to you while you wear 3D glasses powered by artificial intelligence. Am I right? Number four, an increased focus on cybersecurity. When technology boomed during the digital age, cybersecurity quickly popped up as a very important challenge. 68% of business leaders have reported that their security risks are growing. They grew exponentially in 2020, with Microsoft reporting a massive spike in cyber attacks. If you're seeing random clickbait messages fly in, be wary and tread softly. And with so much of the workforce now working on a less secure Wi-Fi connection from home, companies have their hands full when it comes to making sure their intellectual property is secure. With the increase in technology use and the increase in remote work, there has been a need for increased cybersecurity. Whereas companies only needed to focus on cybersecurity in the office before, they now need to combat it in remote workers' homes. So expect to see a huge increase in the cybersecurity world. Number 5, the move away from major cities and states is real. As more people have gone remote, workers are realizing that they can now work anywhere they want. So many people are moving away to greener pastures. During the first 6 months of COVID-19, a huge number of people moved away from big cities. New York and California lost a record amount of residents, while Texas, Idaho, and Florida gained a surge of new residents. The rise of remote working led to an unprecedented demand for real estate outside of big cities, and the ripple effect is causing major changes in commercial real estate as offices go fully remote or embrace hybrid models. In early May 2021, only 1 in 10 commercial spaces had above a 10% occupancy, and major companies are subletting portions of their office space. Analysts expect a 157% increase in co-working spaces by 2024 as people want to continue working remotely, but they still crave human interaction. Things are starting to finally reach a new normal as the vaccine makes its rounds, but we still long for the day where COVID-19 is behind us. But no matter what, we'll see the ramifications for many years to come, for better or for worse. So it's best to know what's coming.